Welcome to Timber&Terra. I'm Glenn. Back out here where we were yesterday, if you watched the previous video, doing some cleanup along this low road, which is normally very wet. So I rarely have access to it, at least in the last several winters. I've really not had access. It just never froze up for me to get down here to clean up stuff. So where we left it, I was able to snag several cedar trees from around here. This one in particular, this large uproot, took down one large fir and a couple sizable cedar as well. This one here, although this one was dead, the wood is sound, but the tree was clearly dead for a while. I chose not to try to take that one out. It's sort of frozen in the ground. So this one here, the last video I cut, has just a little bit of scent of punkiness. I cut out a cookie here. I was not able to roll it out of the way, but it's also cut right there. And the other end it's all buried in the snow. I don't know how well it is actually frozen to the ground. We'll find that out here in a second. I have the cable wrapped around it such that when I pull on it, hopefully it twists it a bit. Hopefully it'll do two things. One is shake some of this snow loose so I have access to it and break any of the branches that have it frozen to the ground, break those free so I can figure out what we're working with. Ideally what I'd like to be able to do is haul it out that way, because hauling it out this way involves turning it 90 degrees. I'd have to cut it into logs here, and it would just be a bit more of a mess. If I can drag it out that way, it'd be a lot cleaner. But right now I can't really easily find the end of the log to do that. And if I could, I'm not sure it'd break it free. So I don't intend to do anything here but to sort of break it free so that I can work down there and drag it out top end first. So let's see what pulling on this does. Well, from where I was standing over there, I couldn't see anything of this, so it doesn't look like it really did much. So, probably back to plan A. So I think what I'll end up doing, I'm going to cut a cookie there. I need to make sure that punkiness is cleaned up. I'll measure out a 16-foot log here, because I can easily make the corner and drag that out. And then maybe that'll allow me to work my way back that way and get whatever logs on the top end that I can get from the other direction. So it's still punky. I'll cut it up here. See if we can get that to go away. Well, I hope this log doesn't become one of those where the punkiness never goes away. I don't think so, because this is really much smaller here than it was, say, right there. Well, hopefully another 1 or 2 feet does it. Sacrificing a lot of volume here if that was a better log. Yeah, in a situation like that, I'm cutting blindly, so you're sort of just relying on the feel of the saw as to where the bottom of the log is. But I could feel it let loose, and you probably saw it, so it certainly cut free. I don't think this one will be much of an issue taking out. It's just the top part of it's going to be more of a challenge. Hopefully it rides nicely over all this snow and brush and slash and stuff that's on here. We'll see. I did notice on the end that I cut, the small end, there was some discoloration, but tapping it with my hatchet didn't really appear to be punky. And I bought lumber before that has that same sort of brown discoloration. I don't think it really degrades the quality or strength of it any. So you can see the stump there on the uprooted root ball. The top of that tree was right here. So I had an old log that's buried there now that was setting on that rock that I cut a couple of years ago. Never had an opportunity to pick it up. It was a small saw log. But thankfully, this tree I think landed on it. So it might give me a chance to pull it out without all the branches and the trunk itself being frozen to the ground. So I think it ended up being a little bit of a double top. So I think that's it right there. So I cleaned this out last video so I could drag these cedar logs out this way, because this was just a big jumbled mess. So what I think I'll do now is, well, I'm just going to clean up this end so I can put the cable around it. I don't have a lot of confidence, but I'll give it a try. I might luck out and be able to tug this free. And at least, again, get it free from the snow, or maybe even drag it out some. But I'm guessing because of how hard that other end was in, there's a lot more branches. Even though they're smaller up here, it probably will fasten it to the ground pretty well. But there's only one way to find out. Well, it didn't budge much at all, so I left tension on this. So that's pretty taut, and I guess I'll just go along the bottom. Hopefully, as I cut off some branches, it'll sort of keep picking it up. If that's the case, and I'll just keep putting additional tension on that and work my way down. Hope this is the same log. It's funny because this points that way. It's probably just a crook. But the butt's sort of that way, so it's got to take a little bit of a curve to the right. There's this other top here, or this other branch or something, which I cut off. I don't know what that goes to. So, guessing I'll find out as I go. This might have been sort of just collateral damage, and this is the main tree. I'm not really sure. yeah, I believe this is another tree. I have no idea where it came from, but I'm pretty sure this is the top of the tree that I'm trying to get out, because that heads in the right direction. So I'll cut this down here, grab a cable onto it, same sort of thing. I pull a little bit of an angle so that it can sort of maybe peel away branches and snow a little bit at a time. That's what I tried doing with this one. It just didn't work. Well, I'll cut this off, release the tension on that, and move the cable to this tree and see if I have any better luck. Well, I think that's my sign. I'm going to leave this until the snowpack gets a bit lighter. Alright, well, I have that log there. I'll probably drag that out as I head back to the house. So I think that was the last bit of at least larger cedar that I plan to get. I may take down a couple of these, especially that big leaner. But as far as film-worthy stuff, I think we're done with cedar down here. I think the last video I showed, I think it was this one. We can see a packed ice, and so I've driven over it, but there is water down here. So that's what the road normally looks like when there's no ice. It's just muddy, grassy. And then here, you can see it as well. So right there where the tractor is, I've packed this all winter long. And that's what a good frozen winter log trail, skid road looks like, or woods road. But you get off the woods road and you end up with stuff like this. So up in the field, when I've done that and I've gotten off the packed surface, it sucks me off, and I've gotten stuck there, nearly stuck several times, stuck once where I had to use a shovel. So this packed road, really, when the weather warms up, cools down, it just turns into ice, and this ice will last fairly well on this road. In fact, there'll probably be ice on this road after the snow on either side of it has melted. So if the conditions are right, then I'll show you that during as the spring goes along. So I'm going to temp fade a little bit. This, I believe, is a red spruce. The bark is really rough. By the bark alone, I almost thought it was a hemlock. But looking at what's left of the leaves, I'm pretty sure it's just a red spruce. So this tree is probably on its last days, based on the crown and the scarcity or sparseness, I guess, of the needles. It's not a huge log. It's only about maybe 10, 11 inches at breast height. But the challenge here is, perhaps you can see it, it's leaning to the right as we're standing. If I move over here, it's leaning to the right even further, right into these cedars. And I would rather not damage these cedars. So what I'm thinking I want to do is fall it that away. It'd be nice if I didn't damage that fir because it's nice and straight. That one obviously I don't care about. But that's pretty open over there. Even if I am successful in forcing it that way, it still may do some damage to this, but I don't think it'll take it down. I think it'll just rub some branches off. So it is a little bit in my favor if I stand here sort of perpendicular to the direction I want it to fall. It does actually have a lean that way, but the lean away from us is so hard. If I cut the hinge too narrow, the hinge might break off and it'll fall that way. But I'm going to try to put a decent notch here, but the more of a notch I put, the less leverage I'm going to have with wedges. But the deeper I go with the notch, the longer that hinge will be and less likely to tear off. So, bit of a learning experience for me. I'll probably take down that little fur there just because it's sort of in the way. Alright, we'll see what happens. So it's leaning pretty hard in the direction that I want it to, but I think what's happening is enough of those branches are getting caught up on that cedar. It's preventing it from falling down. So what I think I'm going to do is start cutting the hinge on this side. What that should do is allow it to rotate, and since it's leaning hard in that direction, I think it'll go in that direction. It'll just break off the hinge and twist. Well, we'll see if that works. So I think the bottom is completely free. Well, let me get my my PV, see if I can't help it twist. Well, my last chance is to put a cable up there as high as I can, pull it from that direction. Well, hopefully you can make out that the tip of that tree was bent over quite a bit, and now it's there, it snapped off. That's probably okay. I mean, that tree will develop several more tops, like, You can see that one. There's all kinds of those around here. They still can produce good healthy trees. You know, as far as the stem goes, there's probably at least two 16-foot logs in there. So I'll limb this up, see what I have for logs, drag those out. I ended up getting 2 logs out of that. You can see one over there, so just to have some fun, because I haven't had much fun yet today. I hooked the top end of that one and the top end of that second one, which is sort of hidden behind that. That's the root ball from the cedar bunch that we cut down a couple videos ago. So I have a cable that runs over there and then over there, so we'll see if it gets hung up, or maybe they'll just come out nice and neat, who knows. It'll be fun. Okay, it stopped being fun. Yeah, I thought they would just sort of both come neatly out on this side of the sort of root ball stumps, but this one didn't want to play. Well, I think I'll do then is disconnect this one. I'll just haul the other one out the way I am. Then I'll move over here and take this one. So what I did on this one, actually you're not supposed to do. Since I'm running into some interference here, so you're supposed to always have this wrapped around the log. Because if you don't, and do it the way I'm doing here, I think you stand the chance of actually pulling the cable out of the sparrow. So, just so I don't do that, I will follow the manufacturer's instructions and do this. So I'm not going to go any further. I know right here it's a sort of a dumping area for snow. I'm not going to, really would like to go over there and put it with the rest of the logs. I do have a couple other logs, I think, buried right there that I had to dump because I'm just going to get myself mired. So I'm going to drop these logs where they are, push them off to the side, and just be glad I won't get stuck. So hopefully when I pull out of here, you'll see the difference. There I'm on soft snow. I might be touching the ground, I'm not sure. But I'll come up significantly where this packed road is. So finally, back safe and sound. Yeah, I would have got stuck there if I tried to go that way because I don't have a defined road once I get out in the field, and the snow is just so dense and so thick. I've been there before. Anyhow, I think that's enough fun, excitement, frustration for one afternoon. Thanks for hanging along with me. I appreciate it. Hope you stay tuned for upcoming videos.